there will be no justice. There will be no justice, and there will be no health care reform, and the growing gap between rich and poor will not be narrowed, and global warming will not be arrested if we don't rescue democracy. This is a gateway issue that if we don't get this right, we don't get anything else. And there will be no peace, no justice, and no democracy if we forget history. There will be no justice right here in our backyard if we forget the fact that all we need to know can be found in Wisconsin Dells. You heard me right. All we need to know can be found in Wisconsin Dells, because buried beneath all the water parks and all the tourist traps is the story of our salvation. There are undoubtedly a lot of you here in this crowd, although I usually draw a blank in most crowds I talk to, who know what Wisconsin Dells was called before it was called Wisconsin Dells. It was Kilbourne City, named for Byron Kilbourne. Byron Kilbourne was a railroad baron who built a railroad from Milwaukee to La Crosse, and he crossed the Wisconsin River at what is now Wisconsin Dells. And he built that railroad on political graft. He went to the Capitol and he made hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes to state legislators. And according to the historical record, there's only one legislator who turned him down when offered a bribe, and that was a fellow named Honest Amasa Cobb. I don't know if he was called Honest Amasa before or after that incident, but Cobb turned him down. Every single legislator other than Cobb who was offered the money took it. More than $300,000 worth of bribes were distributed at a time when the average working person was making less than $1 a day. And the legislature passed what Kilbourne was looking for. He wanted free land. He didn't want to pay the property owners. He didn't want to compensate them for their property. He wanted the property condemned and handed over to him for free, and he bought legislation that got him that. He then went to the governor. A fellow at the time was named he was named Coles Bashford. He offered Bashford $50,000 to sign the legislation into law. Bashford took the money and he signed that bill. And Kilbourne got his free land grant. He built his railroad. If you go to downtown Milwaukee to this day, you'll surely drive on Kilbourne Avenue at some point. And if you go to Wisconsin Dells, you will be on the land that once was called Kilbourne City. And that city was named for graft. And it was the corruption of that era that provoked a response. It not only eventually provoked a response that brought Fighting Bob La Follette to power and created all the great reforms that La Follette and his allies were responsible for, but it also led to the removal of Coles Bashford from office. And when Bashford was defeated, and he was defeated by 118 votes, a newspaper called the Wisconsin Patriot splashed these headlines across its front page. And I am not making this up. The headlines read, 10 million cheers. Crow, old rooster, crow. The 40 thieves cleared out. Randall elected governor. Honesty triumphant. There is a God in Israel. This is our inheritance. And it's also an antidote to the cynicism that has grown like a cancer in so many of our souls. This is our history, and we can take comfort from and draw inspiration from that history, because we face absolutely nothing today that hasn't been faced and defeated before right here on this soil.